Hi there, it's Frankly Tarot again. Today we are going to do something a little bit fun. I have a reading for an anonymous person. They are asking a timing question, and I don't do a lot of timing questions. I'm going to take off my glasses today. I don't do a lot of timing questions, but it's not impossible. So my readee, my querent, is asking, when will they find their soulmate? I'm not really sure exactly what soulmate means, but I'm assuming they do know what they mean by soulmate. So we're going to do a timing question. I'm going to do something a little bit different. And the reason a timing question doesn't work in and of itself is because you still have to do something. If the answer is next week and you spend the whole week sleeping or watching TV, the opportunity is going to pass you by. So we're going to do a timing question and a how. We're going to also pull some cards to see what has to be done, or what the querent needs to do in order for this to come to pass. So because it's a timing question, I'm going to use my Marseille, which I'm just learning the Marseille, but we're going to use it for the timing aspect. And then I'm also going to use my Sasuraibito. I took my glasses, I can't read it. The Sassy Tarot, for a more practical answer to the question. So let's get started. Okay, this is my reading cloth that I showed in a previous video, and I made this. It's kind of a dark navy blue. It's turning up a little bit more bright on the camera, I think. So we're going to ask the Marseille. We're going to ask the Marseille, when will the querents find their soulmate? Alright, I'm going to have to shuffle, so I'm going to be quiet because we're not going to do this on camera. At least not on the sound. Turn the audio off. Typically, I like to have the cards pre-shuffled before I start a video, but I wasn't quite so organized this morning. When will our querent find their soulmate? I'm going to pull 3 cards. All right, we have, in the view of the camera here, we have 8 of coins, we have Judgment 20, Trump 20, the Chariot 7. So for the when part, I'm going to say it's going to be a little while, and it's going to require a certain amount of transformation. I'm going to speak directly to my querent. It's going to be a while, and it's going to require some aspect of transformation, either in your psyche or in the circumstances of your life. I think that some of this is going to be things that happen to you, and some of it's going to be things and choices that you make yourself. But you have a road ahead of you before you find the person that you really feel and who also feels that the two of you should be together. So it's not soon. It's not soon. And because these are coins, I'm going to say that it might be next summer. The coins represent earth, and summer is the earthy time of year. So for timing, it's going to be a while, at least a year. That's my prediction. All right, now let's see if we can't get a little bit of clarity on what's some of the more practical things you need and can do, because I feel like you might be in a little bit of a rut, either spiritually or in your life, and you need to transform out of that. You need to somehow get yourself out of that. That's what I'm seeing in Judgment here. Things are tricky now because, of course, we're in the middle, or the United States is in the middle of a pretty bad pandemic. I don't actually know where you live, so you may be in a country where things have opened up more and it's easier or more possible to go out and about. All right. So let's pull 3 more cards. See what we got here. 2 of Wands, 10 of Wands, and 7 of Swords. So to me, this really drives home the idea that you have a lot of work to do. Now, I do want to say that just because your soulmate is sort of further along, that doesn't mean that you may not have other sweethearts, or you may not date or find somebody intriguing to be around in that time. Also, you may meet somebody soon, but it takes a while to develop that. But I think that I think it's going to be at least a year before you get to that point where you and another person know or realize that you're meant to be together. These cards are telling me that yeah, you have some crap to get through, and the only way through is through. The 7 of Swords in this deck is a very determined person, very determined indeed. And the 10 of Wands is a little bit the opposite, so almost as if it shows someone who's kind of on the verge of giving up. And if you are on the verge of giving up, do not give up. Gird your loins, as they say, which is kind of what is happening in the 7 of Swords. Find your fight and get back into the fight. The 2 of Wands, like most 2s, speak to us about remaining steady and remaining, I don't want to use the word balanced. The 2 of Wands speaks to us about maintaining equilibrium, especially since these other 2 have a lot of, or can represent a bit of upheaval or fast moving, things moving at a good clip. And so you need to maintain your equilibrium. So that's what I'm showing here. Your timing is at least a year out, and it's not going to happen unless you do what you need to do, unless you figure out what you need to figure out. Something's holding you back. And when you rise up out of whatever that is, that's when your soulmate is going to be there for you. But you're rising up out of whatever you're stuck in is going to take action on your part. You need to fight for the life that you want. And we all do, really. But that's for you specifically. You have it in you to move towards the person that your soulmate needs. That the person, it's not just you. You're not asking just about you. You're asking about the other person, and you need to become the soulmate for that other person, the partner and the sweetheart. Actually, I don't actually think a soulmate is necessarily a sweetheart, but you're looking for a person, And I think that person is probably looking for you, and you need to become the other person's soulmate. It's not just you. All right, that's my reading for this, and I really hope it helps. And I will let you know when it goes up on YouTube. We have time for another one, another anonymous querent. This person's question or concern is they're married, but they've met somebody else, and they're wondering what's going on. I usually draw the line at reading for adultery because I feel like it's such a dishonest situation. I'm going to read, however, and I'm going to use this. No, actually, we're going to use a different deck. One moment. All right, I'm back. Let's use the Haunted Mansion deck for this one. The reason I'm going to do it is because I feel like the question, this is a good dark shadow deck, and the question to me feels shadowy. Or Dark Mansion. It's not Haunted Mansion, it's Dark Mansion. I think Haunted Mansion was an old TV show about vampires back in the 60s and 70s. All right, so this querent is married, but things are rocky, not going well, and she's met somebody else, somebody new, or they have met somebody new, and is wondering what's going on. So we just want to know what is going on. All right. I'm going to take a moment to shuffle these properly. I think they were in some kind of order at one point, not too long ago. So what is going on in this little love triangle? I'm going to lay out 3 cards. So, the Ten of Pentacles is so often such a hopeful and happy card, and I don't actually see it that way. Not in the Rider-Waite, not in this deck, because it's false. It's a picture. This shows a portrait, and a portrait is not the real situation. It's not. It's posed. Everyone puts on their best clothes and their best faces, and they are showing the face of a happy family. I think this, by the way, the 3 of Wands in this deck is, I think, my favorite card in the deck. I love it. Now, there's a couple of things to notice on this deck. Things are very colorful here, and the carriage is black. The signs, the direction signs, have no names or words on them. And there are a couple other interesting things I don't really think quite apply, but I found it pretty interesting when I was first looking at this, that one of the stickers on her case is the sun. So that's kind of cool. I think this also points to a dangerous or false hope. It's as if this character is running away in the hopes of finding something different, in the hopes of finding an ideal. This is an ideal, but we don't see what's behind it. We do see some dark shadows. I think that my querent is perhaps, I think that the 2 of Cups points to what my querent truly wants, which is let me speak directly. I think that the 2 of Cups points to what you are truly looking for, which is a happy, respectful, equal relationship. And you may not be feeling that in your marriage, but I don't think this third person, this new person, is going to bring that to you. Oh, and it's so funny. This deck is so wonderful because we do have everything in this card. We have everything that Two of Cups is about. Two people sharing equally, sharing themselves. We've got the turtle dove. Well, I don't know if they're turtle doves. We get these two lovebirds in the tree. And then we have a worm in the apple. There's always a worm in the apple. I think you need to deal with the worm in your apple. Oh, that sounds bad, but I think what's going on with this new person is a false sense of romance. And you need to either properly deal with your situation or leave it so that you can have this relationship, whether it's with your husband, this person that you've met, or somebody else entirely. To me, this seems like the goal for you. But just like hopping on an unknown carriage is just going to lead you to this fall of front. It's shallow. It will be shallow. That's what's going on. That's what these cards are telling me that's going on. So I do encourage you to find what you need in a relationship, in a partnership, a romantic partnership. Find it. Figure out what it is and find it. But running away from your situation isn't going to actually resolve what you're feeling in the way that you expect or need. All right, we have time for one more. And this querent has a similar question. She's asking what she and her husband or partner can do to have a happy, loving relationship. I'm going to be using my Morgan Greer for this one. It's a good, balanced deck and kind of classic. This is in a tin, so it's a little bit smaller, as you can see. And so we'll go with this. So what can you do? I'm going to speak directly to my querent. What can you do to maintain or renew a happy, loving relationship with your husband? Okay. Judgment card. More transformation. I think you have two main things going on, which most relationships do, which is a money thing and an emotional thing. And I think what's happening perhaps is you guys are having trouble showing how you feel or finding the best way to show how you feel. And there may be some feelings of inequity. Actually, I'm not going to read this as being so literally about money, but rather about fairness within the relationship. What it looks like to me with these cards is that there's some feeling of things not being fair, maybe about money, but mainly about the emotional aspects of the relationship. You're asking specifically, what can you do? I think what you can do is firstly to really examine how you work with and talk with your emotions with each other. And if someone is more expressive or less expressive, how does that affect you? How does that affect the relationship? And then to try and work out a certain balance or fairness so that you are each able to give what the other needs and can realistically receive. Now, in the Six of Pentacles, the figure is very stoic, disinterested, and he's going to give what each hand needs. I think what this shows is perhaps a need for a disinterested party like a couples counselor. I think that could help you. And I think that working on how you express your feelings to and for each other will help you. And then we have the Judgment card. My light is changing so much right now. We have the Judgment card here, and to me this shows a complete transformation. I think you can get through it, but you do need to express how you feel. And it's tricky because one person says something and the other person hears something, and there's much in between the saying and the hearing. So you may need to pull in a counselor of some sort so that you can each make sure that the other is hearing what you want to express. Get a better shot of these cards. I do encourage all my querents to not just take what I say in a reading, but to look at the cards and see what they see. See what you see in these cards. You may see something very different. Or they may speak to you in a way that I'm not interpreting. Or you may see more. The cards have lots of detail. You may see something in there that really speaks to you. So I encourage you to pause on the video and look very carefully at the cards, as well as taking in what I say, as is useful and helpful to you. All right, three readings in one morning. I feel like I have actually accomplished something, and it's for me right now, it's just past 6:30. I hope this helps everybody. I'll be contacting my querents. You will know who you are. Feel free to contact me and let me know how things work out. That's me for today. Thank you. Bye.